Hey everybody, today on the podcast, I've got a fun topic in store. We're going to be talking about one of my favorite easy buttons during the holidays as a working mom. You're not going to want to miss it. So grab a notebook, grab a pen, and get ready to get started with Kilee Nickels. Hey everybody, happy Friday. I'm Kilee and you are back with Kilee Nickels. Today we are diving into some holiday traditions and holiday discussion. I'm so excited for it to be the holiday season and for this year to feel like it's our best chance at a normal holiday season in like the last 2 years. So very excited about it. Hopefully you guys had a great fall and great Halloween and all those things. But with Thanksgiving and Christmas approaching, I thought today's episode would be great to focus a little bit on traditions. So growing up, I grew up in a pretty idyllic household, like mom, dad, 4 younger brothers in the Midwest. We had traditions and it was really fun. I had a great childhood. Birthdays were always really special. We had a theme and somewhat of a party and a cake and gifts. And we always eat the same food on Thanksgiving. And with Christmas, we had traditions where we did the 12 days of Christmas to a different family and just had these little moments of tradition that were really great. And I probably took for granted because to me, they were always the norm. But when I got married, so Soren and I got married in college and waited a couple of years to have kids. But once we got married and started talking about kids and traditions and things, I didn't realize that other people grew up without traditions. So Soren had very few traditions, if any, during his childhood, and they really weren't intentional. Of course, to each family their own and things, but just was really different, really jarring that oh, you guys, you didn't really do much for birthdays, or Christmas wasn't really a thing, and you didn't have these specific, stuff that we always do. And so it was a little bit well, what are we going to do? And I was pretty hell-bent on keeping the traditions that I grew up with. I grew up in the perfect setting. So of course we're going to continue those traditions. And it was there's a little friction there. Soren, because he didn't grow up with any traditions, he almost was well, why? Why do we have to have traditions? Why do we have to do anything a certain way? And that was kind of interesting because it forced me and us to kind of get pretty, I don't know if it's deliberate, but a lot of things were questioned. It's well, do we want to do this? Do we want to do this? Why are we doing it this way? So, we've been married for 16 years, 15 years. Oh gosh, it blends together once you get to this stage. But that's a decent length of time. And now that we have 5 kids, it's okay, we have some traditions that we've started, and some of them are the things that my parents did and that I did as a kid, which I think it's great to continue family traditions. And then other ones we've started on our own. And, some of them have started naturally. And I think that's really one of the best ways to start doing traditions. But why am I even talking about traditions? I mean, I think it's nice for the holidays, but as I have become a full-time working mom over the last 2 years and have been working on setting up a small business and creating a way that we do things at work, it really makes so much sense to me to have a way that we do things at home. It actually takes a lot of the stress and the worry and the thinking out of things. So I love traditions at home because I think traditions help just kind of put your family, and this is going to sound bad, but it puts your family happenings on autopilot a little bit. And that's actually a great thing because then as a mom, we have plans to do things together. And also kids love things that are consistent and are the way we do things, or we always do this. So as a working mom, I'm just a huge proponent. And I think it's really great to consider, okay, what else could I make a tradition at my house? Because that makes it really easy for mom to just always have the things on hand, have things in the calendar, and know what we're doing. So a simple one could be pizza every Friday night. I know lots of families do this, but if you just can make the conscious decision that, oh yeah, pizza is always on Friday nights. Friday night is always pizza night. And you make it a fun celebratory thing, this is what we do as a family, then super easy because you got one night of the meal or one night of the week planned all the time. Another tradition that's happened naturally for us is something called Sunday Sundays. And so I try to always have ice cream and toppings in the house. And then on Sunday nights, we always do this like huge bowl of all different kinds of ice cream and every topping we have in the house. And then everybody grabs a spoon and digs in. So it's just Sunday Sundays. And it's just a thing that we do. And some of my kids really grabbed onto it and love it, especially Knox. And he loves to like pile it all together. So that's just a fun tradition that's happened. But it's just super nice. I think as a working mom, you can have a lot of guilt. And honestly, not working moms have guilt too, right? Like guilt is part of the mom badge we wear sometimes of just, am I doing enough? Are my kids feeling included and belonging? And are we like a happy family? And I just think traditions are a great way to kind of ensure or check some of those boxes. So I love traditions because I think it makes your life easier as mom. It also creates this family structure that we talked about where it's like, this is how we do things. This is what we always do. It's like the fun side. Rules are kind of the like meh side and traditions are the fun side. And then it can create this sense of community in your home and belonging to the family. Like, this is the family I belong to. This is what we do. And as a mom, that's something that's important. It creates a little bit of the culture in your home. So how to start traditions? I had never consciously thought about this until Soren had said, well, we didn't have traditions. Like, why do we have to do those? But I think you can carry forward traditions that your family always did. And I love that. I think when you get married and when you're starting having kids and things, like look at what your parents did, what your grandparents did, and bring those things forward if you really like that. But then if you want to maybe start something new or consider what you could use as a tradition, remember that you can just start with something small. So, it's the small things that consistently add up to anything in life, but traditions are the same way. You just have to do something small several times and it feels like it's a tradition. This is what we do every year, every month, or every week. So I've got Pepper's in here. Hi, Pepper, my French bulldog. She's under my desk. So just remember, it's something small. It doesn't need to be something huge. It could be something huge if you want to make it that way. Like every summer we go to this beach house. Okay, that's a big thing. But you could say that's what we're going to do every summer. And honestly, then your vacation is kind of planned every year. But it could just be something really small like the Sundays. If something goes well, turn it into a tradition. So if something, you just tried something new, like, we went apple picking, or we played a game on a Tuesday night and that actually went really well. Everybody really had a good time. And the kids asked if we could do it again. That could be a tradition. When we first moved to Kansas City after having kids and being away for college, we came back to Kansas City and we went to, it's called Celebration at the Station. And it's a Memorial Day big celebration where the symphony plays and there's all these fireworks and it's outside and it's just the whole community. Pepper is totally digging in my garbage. She's such a goat. And it was so fun. Like, I loved it. I loved the fireworks. I loved the atmosphere. I loved being with the family. I loved everything about it. And so we turned it into a tradition. So every year, granted, COVID has ruined the last 2 years, but every year we go do this fun tradition as a family. And I look forward to it. The kids look forward to it. Soren looks forward to it because we look forward to it. So that's been great. Once you have something like that, then you just need to figure out how you can repeat it. So that could look like putting it on the calendar for next year or a little reminder in your phone. Especially you can make a list. So we are a little bit crazy sometimes with things. So this celebration at the station, Soren keeps a running list in his phone of things that we bring to make it a good experience. And it's kind of a big to do. Like, you park far away, you walk all the way in, you're there for hours. And so, like, what are the things we bring to make it easy, like snacks and blankets or a flashlight or things like that. So make a list in your phone so you have something to look back to. You can also try to really keep the supplies for that thing on hand. So like I said, with Sunday Sundays, we always try to keep some ice cream in the freezer. It's usually in the downstairs freezer, so it's not like we eat it every day, and just some toppings on hand. So that makes it super easy to make it a consistent thing. Be creative, create traditions your family enjoys. So like I said, it doesn't have to look like everybody else's traditions. It doesn't have to be matching jammies at Christmas. It doesn't have to be family pictures every this time. Okay, nobody wants family pictures to be a tradition, but like I said, it doesn't have to be the same thing that everybody else does, like making sugar cookies. You don't have to make sugar cookies every holiday. You don't have to. But maybe you love doing gingerbread houses, so you do a gingerbread house with your family. So just make it something that everybody enjoys. Granted, I make my family do a lot of things they don't enjoy, like matching jammies and pictures with that. But that's okay. That's just not something that I call a tradition. And my kids certainly are not like, when can we take the matching jammy photos? But so try to make it fun and be something that everybody enjoys. Traditions can continue to evolve. So it only takes, I think, probably 2 to 3 times of doing something that everybody enjoys in a consistent way, like every month we do this or every year we do this, for it to feel like it's tradition. So it can turn into a tradition pretty quick. So some of our favorite traditions, I just wanted to give some examples because I think hearing other people's traditions can really help you feel like, oh, well, we could do that, or, well, that'd be fun. So a couple of years ago, we started doing a family date over Thanksgiving weekend. And it really just started with one time. I was like, let's go down to the plaza, look at lights, eat at the Cheesecake Factory. And then, oh, by the way, let's pop in Barnes & Noble. And why doesn't everybody pick out a Christmas book? Kids loved it. Everybody loved it. So we've done it for the last 3 to 4 years. We go down and eat at the Cheesecake Factory. And then we go to Barnes & Noble and we pick out a book. And I tried to make it Christmas books because I wanted to build that collection. The boys were not having it. They just wanted a new book. So I said, fine, let's just make it how we want to make it and make it fun. So they just pick out a new book and I buy one new Christmas book for the family, for me. So that's one thing we do. We do matching pajamas every year. And I do try to make it fun by watching a Christmas movie. So I think a movie night's a fun one. Super easy, but every year you could watch the same movie. So I really like The Grinch, not the original one. It's like one of the newer ones. But we will just kind of watch that every season. Every Thanksgiving. So I kind of group holiday traditions together, like Thanksgiving and Christmas. And you could do Hanukkah or things like that. But we do a Thanksgiving gratitude journal. I started this a couple of years ago because somebody else was doing it. But it's this really nice leather journal that I bought for the whole extended family. And every time everybody comes over to our house for Thanksgiving dinner, they go in and I force everybody to write a paragraph or a page about what they're grateful for, what their year was like, just a snapshot in time so that someday down the road we can look back and see what we all wrote. Another thing we do over Thanksgiving is we draw names with siblings. So me and my siblings will draw names, then we just get one person a Christmas gift. My kids will do the same thing and they get one of their siblings a Christmas gift, and it's a surprise as to who's going to get you a gift. I know a lot of families do that, but I do think it's a really fun, easy thing that it just doesn't seem like a lot, but the kids remember it and you can continue to do it through the years. You can find a great way to donate. So for a few years, we've adopted a family and we try to all shop together in some way, shape, or form. Granted, I usually end up being the one finishing the job. But then we'll take the gifts and drop them off at the community center for a family. This year also in Kansas City and in select cities all over the country, there are these giving machines going in. So our church is putting these giving machines in different parts of the country, and it's the coolest thing. It's like a vending machine for giving. So you can just take your credit card and choose a way to give back to some place in the community. So it could be buying school books for kids, and that's, $25. Or it could be buying a goat for someone in another country, and that's $50. So it's just this really cool way to give through a vending machine. So we're going to take our kids down there and do that for the first time and hopefully start a new tradition there. Advent calendars, people love to do. We try to do a faith-based one and then just a fun one. So last year we did a Harry Potter Lego one, and then we do a faith-based one called the 25 Days of Christmas. And that's a really fun one where you open an ornament every day and put it on the tree. Nickels also has an Advent calendar this year, just a little plug there. It's our first year doing an Advent calendar, and it's kind of for mom. So it's 12 days of just a fun new little gift to open for yourself. So I'm excited about it. It's like the advent calendar of my dreams. But I think advent calendars are fun because it just gets you together at the end of every day or the beginning for the beginning of December, and you just open something together. Another tradition we do is for the last, I don't know how many years, we've gone to Great Wolf Lodge over Christmas break. And I have the right ages of kids for that, although I think this year we might do something different. But it's just a fun little like mini staycation during Christmas break. And the kids always look forward to it. It's, in between Christmas and New Year's, and we'll just go spend the night or 2 nights somewhere and just kind of have a little mini getaway. Gingerbread houses is something we love to do. We don't always do it every year, but I think it's a fun one to consider. And it's even more fun if we get together the extended family and we do like all out. We use cardboard, we use hot glue, we don't just stick to frosting and graham crackers. You can really get pretty artistic with them, but it's fun to have some competitions. The last one that I recognize that we do every year is we always have the same breakfast on Christmas morning, and it's the same breakfast my parents had when I was growing up, so one that we've carried forward. But it's so good and it's so fun because if we're at my parents' house, we eat that breakfast. If we're at my house, we eat that breakfast, and it's like this, we call it train wreck. It's this like eggs and hash browns and everything mixed together, and ham all like scrambled together, and then this really delicious homemade cherry Danish. And everybody remembers it every year. So hopefully those give you some ideas. We don't do every single one of them every year. Some of them we're more strict about than others. And I think what's really important is you don't beat yourself up over missing a tradition or not having very many or breaking tradition. The tooth fairy at our house, that's some tradition that some families really hold on to. We are the worst. Our tooth fairy sucks. She's super bad. And so I think we're just kind of giving up on that one. It's totally a broken tradition. Sometimes we're really late with Advent, or we'll miss multiple days and then we feel like we have to catch up. But the point of tradition is all the things I talked about earlier, where it's supposed to make your life easier, I think. It creates family structure. It creates a sense of belonging. And you can do that in so many different ways. So I think that they really can be a working mom's best friend. All parents really can benefit from this, where you've just programmed your life a little bit and the kids don't know it's to be easy. They think it's just to be fun. It's the perfect scenario. So, hopefully these ideas give you some ideas to get going. I'd love to hear what your traditions are, especially if they're just fun, easy, low lift ones that maybe we can add to our calendar. So feel free to email me or shoot a DM over, or leave a review and comment on maybe how some of these ideas helped you. So thanks so much. I hope you guys have a good kickoff to your holiday season, and can't wait to hear from you. Thanks so much. See you next time. Thanks for listening today to With Kilee Nickels. I hope that today you felt empowered to take one more step towards living the best version of you. Tune in next week for another episode, and in the meantime, you can find us elsewhere on the internet. You can find me on Instagram at Kilee Nickels and at Nickel and Suede. You can also find us at nickelandswade.com.